that was loud. Well, anyway, good day to you guys. I think I'm gonna have a weird one here. This is an AC complaint. Customer states that every now and then the AC just stops blowing cold. He said it's ice cold when it does work and then it stops. And I'm already kind of confused because the key's out of it. It's sitting here running. I'm holding the key. I got a AC light flashing and blinking, and I've got some relays I hear clicking inside. So this is already starting to be a strange one. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to shut off. Yeah, this is okay. I think I should figure this out first because it's sitting here running, and the brake lights were flashing when I walked up to it. What is going on? I don't comprende. Well, whatever. Let's go in the shop and see what I can find on this thing. All right, let's pull this mofo in. See if it shuts off now. Okay, now it shuts off. This is super strange. All right, this makes it a little more difficult. Now it seems to be working. All right, I believe it's scan tool time, and let's check everything for trouble codes. Okay, that AC is doing its thing again. That's good. It's hard to diagnose things when the failure is not present because you can test and test and test, and if everything's working, it's working. So you don't ever get a test result that indicates an issue, but that's still flashing, which it gives me some kind of a clue. Let's get some. Where's my door control here? Okay, that's not working. Let's see, the fan's working. Okay. All right, now I've got it on face vent. That's going, and I have no cold AC with the flashing light. All right, and it shuts off again. Okay. Alrighty, first things first, it's gonna be scan tool time. Not that one, I wanna use my new one. That's still a good one, but I'm taking that one home so I have something at the house. This is my new expensive one. This may be the most expensive thing I own regarding tools. It was almost $3,000. And it kind of hurts. I liked it before I bought it, and then after I owned it and realized that I just spent $3,000 on a tool, I was like, oh God, what have I done? Oh well, I suppose I'll get over it. Good tools, they tend to pay more than they cost, and this is a pretty decent one. It was number 3. Like they had the Snap-on Zeus up here, which was like $10,000, and then they had something else in the middle, which was like, I think it was the Apollo D9, that was $5 or something, and this one was the third one down, so I elected to get this one. Yes, I want that. And scan everything, because I want to know big picture action here. This is a weird one. So as of right now, the AC is not blowing cold. Let's make sure I have the temperature correct. Yeah, it's on low, face vents, AC's flashing. So while this thing is going to be scanning all the modules, it actually might be done by now. I'm going to go check and see if that compressor is coming on, and we'll start there. Hello, Toyota. Okay, taking a look way down yonder. The compressor is not engaged. You see the clutch is stationary. The pulley is just hanging out in there, rotating, acting as an idler right now. Nothing's happening. So I do not have AC command on. There's my plug, which is kind of a mofo to get to. It's a little hot in there. So let's go on back and take a look at what the scan tool has to say about this. Okay, got a code stored in the ECM. That's something about a brake switch, not my problem right now. Transmission, nothing. ABS, fault in master cylinder pressure sensor. Okay, that's not going to give me my AC issue. Here we go. Heating and AC, current HVAC code is 3. Alright, we've got a solar sensor. That's the sun load sensor. Compressor lock. Alright. And a couple temp sensors. This is weird. I'm not familiar with any of these TTCs. Well, I don't have a compressor, and I have a trouble code that says compressor lock. So let me look up that one, see what we got. Okay, so I pulled up some info in ALLDATA about this B1422 trouble code, stating that there could be an open or a short in the compressor lock sensor circuit. I went through some diagrams and found that the compressor lock sensor is integrated into the compressor. We know it's not the drive belt because I just watched that turning. And let's see. CAN communication appeared to be working. I had communication with all the modules, and some of the special functions were operating. And I'm not familiar with the beam system. Must be a Toyota thing. Harness or connector. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do this the way I would normally diagnose something of this nature, and I'm going to get a hold of that compressor connector, and I'm going to check it for power and ground. If I've got power and ground and I have no compressor, that means that my clutch has failed, or the compressor lock sensor that's apparently integrated into there is not functioning. So it's time for me to start digging a little bit and get this connector out. Okay, now seeing as how it's hot in there and the sensor is far away, I'm going to try to pop this mofo out with some pliers. I'm sorry if I'm blocking you. I need to be able to see what I'm doing here, and space is a little limited. Got it. This is good. Okay, so we got a 3-wire connector, so there is some feedback going to the control module. I'm going to break out the meter and see if I've got power and ground here that would be commanding this compressor on. Okay, I've got the other end of this test light hooked up to the positive side, and it looks like I've got a ground here. I'm assuming that this one is going to be my power side. And look at that. It's kind of coming on, but not enough to even give me a voltage. I'm assuming that's power, so I'm going to switch the other end of my test light over to the ground terminal on the battery to see if I have voltage present at this pin right here. And no good, not coming on. Okay, let's check it at the actual connector. See if we have any kind of voltage coming through. And we're looking like nada. Okay, there's really not much. Nothing happening here. Okay. Okay, I have plugged that compressor back in, and I'm gonna go find a different path to seek out the answers on this thing. Okay, the next item on my flow chart wants me to locate and remove, with connectors still attached, the AC amplifier. I'm assuming this is what they call an amplifier, is the control module, and I believe it's located behind the glove box door. I'm gonna pop that out, and I'm gonna check pins 9 and 24 to see what kind of voltage fluctuation that it gets. This is the next component that's suspected to be the cause of this, according to this very old school Toyota flowchart. Okay, I just got back into the car, and it had a blend door that was freaking out. Okay. What is this, and why is this happening in here? Oh no. Okay, it has some GPS thing wired into all of this, and I believe I believe this is what they call the amplifier, this guy right here. I need a light. There we go. All right, this big shiny component here is what is called the AC amplifier, and my instructions indicate to me that I need to remove that without disconnecting. So it looks like it's held in with a 10mm nut up here, and I see another one down on the bottom. So let's get all this disconnected. Easier said than done, I think. Yeah, there's another one down here. Looks like it's just two fasteners and it's loose. But look, I've got some clip thing in my way. Okay. Just take more stuff apart. Oh, this thing's a little warm. How am I supposed to get this out of here? Okay, I'm gonna have to unplug these and move them aside, so let's shut it down. I'm not too thrilled about this aftermarket crap wired into the ECM. That's usually asking for trouble. Yeah, this thing's super hot to the touch. Ow. Now it says remove without disconnecting, but the connector is not even long enough really to allow me to do that. Yeah, I'm running out of... It wants me to get to this bottom side to check those pins and whatnot. I can't even get close to that. I will unplug more connectors. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug it and then get the module out of its home, and then I will see if I can plug it back in somehow. I'm reaching down from the bottom to get to the connectors. I think I got them. A lot of work just to test something, isn't it? Engineers. Yeah, this thing's pretty warm to the touch. It's actually kind of burny. If I keep touching it, it's gonna hurt. I'm sure it does more than just turn the compressor on, so I should give a little bit of credit to the module. It's a pretty big unit. Okay. PCM's plugged back in. And I will pull these connectors down low and plug this AC amplifier back in. There, now you can see. I still can't really reach these pins, so I'm not certain how I'm supposed to get a meter connected to all that. But I'll figure it out, I suppose. Okay. Start everything back up. I bet it's gonna work now since I've manipulated it. Okay, I'm starting to get really annoyed at this point because I need to have Toyota's scan tool in order to properly test that as per the testing procedure. So I'm just going to do this kind of a manual way. What I think is going on here is there's an issue with the compressor. I think it's got high resistance in the clutch coil, and I believe that this amplifier module is detecting that high resistance and then denying permission for the AC to come on. So what I'm going to do is I've gone back and disconnected the AC compressor, and that's going to remove the potential high resistance or faulty circuit, because I believe that the issue is the compressor. And I'm going to clear all the codes. What that's going to do is it's going to remove the stored trouble codes from all the control modules, which in theory should allow AC permission to try to repower that compressor. Once these are cleared, I'm going to go back to the compressor connector with the meter and then see if I have a command on voltage for the compressor. If I do, then I know that the compressor has high resistance inside of the coil, or that pressure sensor that's supposed to be in there, and at that point I can condemn the compressor. So codes are cleared. I'm going to rescan it and see. No, I didn't want to do that. Cancel. I'm going to rescan it real fast and see if any codes pop back up. I may get a open circuit code for the compressor. I may not. I'm not really too fluent in Toyota language. And in the meantime, while this is scanning again, let's command AC on. Nothing. Okay. And my light's blinking again, so I may be off on a dead end here. Okay, that's not working either. It did throw those same codes again, both of which for those solar sensors. I'm going to investigate those in a moment, but it gave me that 1422. It could give me that code on a second time because an open circuit is lug nut. Looks like I'm fixing lug nuts again later. Okay, you heard that. Alright, as I was saying, an open circuit is infinite resistance. Infinite resistance, so unplugged may not necessarily be the issue. Okay, so I'm going to bypass everything. I have a relay switch here. I took the compressor relay out. I'm going to install this switch, and we're going to see if I even get power to the compressor. I'm basically testing the wire between the fuse box and this relay pin that's inside the fuse box. And again, this is just circumventing all of the control systems. I want this compressor to come on, so I'm going to click this guy on, and we're going to check the wire and see if I now have power at this wire, which I do. There it is. Okay, let's plug this in and see if the compressor lives. Alright, compressor is being manually commanded on with my relay tester. Again, you can see it's on and it will not run. Therefore, I am now concluding that this compressor is faulty and should be replaced. And just to verify that, I'm going to go ahead and drop my flashlight. I'm going to go ahead and unplug it again and test it one more time, just to make sure it still has power and ground going to it. And I'm going to keep this live without breaking the cut if I can, just to give it some proof. So we've got, come here. Okay, so backing it up. There's power. I'm going to flip the switch to the relay. That's off. That's on. This one should be my ground circuit, so I'm going to move my other end of the test light over to a positive source, and that one's ground circuit. And there's my ground. So I've manually installed power and ground to this compressor, and it still will not actuate. That tells me that the compressor itself is faulty. She should be coming on right now, and it is not. This is a confirmed diagnosis without going through all that Toyota nonsense with special tools and scanners and breakout boxes that we just don't have here. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend a compressor for this, and we're going to go from there. You know, I'm actually kind of annoyed at myself over this car, because I knew better than to follow the manufacturer's diagnostic procedure. You know, that stuff does not apply to 10 or 15-year-old cars. And I try to go through the diag tree, because I hate to be wrong when it comes to diagnosing something. But man, when you got something this old, you just kind of have to do it the manual way. I wish I'd have done all that the first time around. And you know, for me it's professionally embarrassing, because I know better on these older rides to try to go through the manufacturer's procedure, because it's no longer valid at some point. You know, if this was a brand new car, sure, I could see how it has faulty modules or a bad build or something, but you know, these things are worn out, and things wear, and they degrade over time. And when you're in older car, working on the older cars, you tend to have issues where, you know, components are breaking down, and rather than, you know, loose connections or, you know, like I said, a bad build on a module. And it's a good habit to have, and it's also a bad habit. And like I said, I'm a little pissed at myself, because that good habit turned into a bad habit when it came to this car. And I wish I didn't waste all that time trying to be extra super thorough, because you know, looking back, I should have just checked this thing out the manual / analog way, because that's what provided the accurate diagnosis here. Oh well, like I said a few videos ago, you learn something new every day, therefore I know nothing. Now if I could just learn how to get this module back in its home. There we go. A tight squeeze. See, I'm over here doing all this for nothing when I didn't have to, because I should have ran power to that compressor straight away and figured out that was the issue, but no. I just had to do it the dealership way. The funny thing is I didn't even start my career in the dealership. I started in a tire shop, and I was in retail land where we didn't have those dealership resources. You know, you tested everything manually and made a determination based on that. Sometimes it would bite you, and a lot of times you'd come out ahead of the curve. Perhaps I need to learn when to use both methods rather than just defaulting straight to super thorough technician mode. And I'm sure I'm gonna catch some flack for the time that I wasted and the strategy that I employed here. I probably earned it this time, so it's sort of whatever. Can't find this plug. There we go. Okay. Let's plug these guys back in, because I'm getting out of this glove box now. But I also feel that regardless of whatever method I tried to use or did use, or you know, the failure that I had on this diagnostic, at the end of it all, even though it did take me an hour to kind of troubleshoot, at the end of it all, I did find that compressor does not function. I did accurately diagnose it, but you know, I'm a little PO'd at myself, because I could have done better. But is what it is. We got the problem solved, and all that's left now is to repair said problem. Stuff that back in there. Okay, everybody, I hate to do this to you, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut this one off short. It looks like this video is gonna be 2 parts. You just watched the first part, which is gonna be the diagnostic portion of this video, and you can check the links below and the pinned comment for the second edition of this series. I hope everyone enjoyed this video so far. If you did, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't enjoy this video, please feel free to let me know about it in the comment section down below. All that being said, again, thank you guys for watching. And as always, don't forget, have a great day.